Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Blazing Apple, and welcome to part 3 of Jebediah's journey. And so this episode, we are going to be landing on Ike, and then getting ready for landing on Duna. And so right here, we are doing a braking burn to aero brake around Duna, since last time we got our encounter and head out. But unfortunately for Jebediah, I did not pack enough fuel to also land on Duna using the same ship. So I also, you'll see in this episode, that I send out a refueler, and he has to wait for, I don't remember, you can look at the timer on the top left, but for many months and perhaps years. But yeah, so right now we're doing our inclination fix, and this is the landing part containing Jebediah. So we are going to finish up our maneuver. Now we're going to transfer our fuel to our landing stage, which is going to head out to Ike. And the reason I'm going to Ike first is for landing on Duna, I want to save these stages. Because how it will work on Duna is you'll be able to decouple these stages, and that way when I'm heading up through the atmosphere, which will take more energy, it'll be more efficient. And also I need to keep these on since I have little parachutes, which will slow me during descent to Duna. But now we're going to go ahead and get our encounter and do our Ike braking burn to descend to the surface. And so here we are going down to the surface with our ship with our solar panels deployed, which I do not bother to fold up before the landing. But thankfully they don't break. So here we are coming down, and this landing was okay. The only reason that it bounced a little bit or is uneven is because this is all on a slant, and so there we go. It's an alright landing. It's better than some of the other ones I've done earlier in the series. But alright, so we've gone to 3 different moons and 1 planet, and of course including Kerbin. And I noticed when I quick save is that the ship starts to break. You can see the landing gear right there starting to break, and the reason that I take that so seriously when I probably shouldn't is because if one part breaks, I'm not going to be able to land on Duna, or it's going to be very difficult to do so. So as soon as I load up a quick save, or the save file, since I can't do this all at once, since it takes hours and hours, and along with editing, this is a very time-consuming process. So with school, I'm sorry, I'm not really able to put out many episodes of this. But right now we're going to head back into our orbit around Duna, and I'm not actually going to bother docking. I'm just going to do a braking burn. Alright, so I noticed I did not have enough fuel from last time, and so I'm going to have to build a refueler transfer stage. This is shown at, I believe, it's a 5 times speed. Maybe it's a bit more, I'm not quite sure. If I was at 5 times speed, this is showing at, 30 frames per second, so maybe I was doing 6 frames per second. Again, I'm not quite sure. And so we're going to build another half. I think this is a rebuild, actually, of the last half. I cannot remember to capture footage. But point is, I built it. I skipped through a lot of this part since it was boring compared to the rest of it. And indeed, I'm going to skip launch for both of these parts, and I'm just here going to show docking. And I am also going to skip the long boring burn and just show us escaping Kerbin's sphere of influence. And as with everything else, you set Duna as your target to get an encounter. I canceled my maneuver halfway through doing this, which is why this encounter is a bit ugly. It's not as efficient as it could have been, but we got the Duna encounter. And so now we're aero braking, and you see the orbit, this line kind of wrap around the planet, come back in. That's because I noticed when I was first coming in, I was coming in on the wrong side of the planet, and what that means is I was going to orbit in the opposite direction as my other crafts. So now I'm doing both my aero brake maneuver and an inclination fix, and it's not as efficient because engines are not as efficient in the atmosphere. I'm going dipping in the atmosphere just a little bit to create drag and slow us down, but I thought it looks cool, and so of course I ended up doing it just for some fun. So now we're going to pull this out of the atmosphere and cinematic fuel tank decoupling in front of Duna. Very nice. And now I'm going to test one of these little atmospheric landing probes I decided to do, and add on to these 2 fuel tanks. And they're really simple. It's just an engine, a fuel tank, a core, a little generator, and a parachute. And so basically I just use a parachute to land after decoupling everything else. And on this I'm using a stack separator, which decouples from both parts, unlike a decoupler, which stays attached to the bottom part.